Hi there, it's Devin Fraze with Baduk Club. Today, I'm going to help you guys learn how to use the MacMahon tournament tool. There are a couple different tools for tournaments. In the future, they'll all be unified into one. But for now, if you'd like to run a larger, more serious tournament, this is the tool for you. First thing you're going to want to do is log in and or sign up in the top right. You can see here, it's my profile picture, so I've already done that. And the home page becomes my dashboard. Next, you want to go to the tools page, which is in the header. And of course, you can type it in manually. There's a couple different tools. Again, we want the MacMahon tournament tools. We're going to click this. And there's some description here. Page here will load with the series of MacMahon tournaments. We're going to create a new one. You can see the URL has now updated with a string of numbers. We're going to want to change the name of our tournament and set the URL. This is the first step. So click Edit. You now have access to that information. So we'll name this video event, and we'll set the URL to be something like video dash event. You can use other text. You can use capital letters, so like that. Typically, you want to use all lowercase, no spaces, with things like dash instead. Once you select away from that, it will update your page. When you refresh your page, then the tournament URL will be correct. You can also add event admins right here by searching different names of the person and then clicking Add Admin. You can do different rules for your event. So Chinese, Japanese, AJA, New Zealand, or Ing rules. I recommend sticking with AJA or Japanese or Chinese, although I personally like New Zealand. But those have been the common ones. You can set custom komi. It'll also set based upon whatever your standard rule set is. This should update. But if you have some sort of special settings you'd like, you can do that. To either delete or clone this event, you can click one of these buttons. It'll create another one with the same settings, so you can do additional events in the future. Social link info. This is what will display when you share this on social media. So this will be the same as your title of your event, which again displays here. Then the photo for your event. So when you share a link on Twitter or Facebook or something like that, this will be the photo that displays, and the description of the event as well. It's also captured by Google when people Google the name of your event. If it shows up on my site on Baduk Club, then it'll this description will be shown. Time settings for the event. You can select Fisher, Canadian, or absolute time. If you select the main time, please enter it in seconds. So 60 minutes times 60 seconds is 3,600 seconds. So this is a 1 hour main time event standard, but you can select your own. You can do overtimes as well. So seconds and how many sets of video you're going overtime. Once you're happy with that, it's save. And that'll save your settings. Next up, you're going to want to define the schedule. If you did add any other directors, they're here. And as a quick note, to mark yourself online or another director online, merely click this button. And that will actually allow people in your event to see another button that will appear below. And that other button will be for help hotline. They can video chat with the directors. That help hotline will be visible to you as a director down here on the left if anyone needs to join. If anyone joins that, you'll get a notification there. To add to the schedule, hit the plus sign. It'll add your time. You can edit it with this button here. And select the date and the time. It'll display in anyone's time zone, whoever's at your website. When you select this, a calendar will appear. So we'll say the event's this Saturday. And this is displaying a 24-hour clock, minute by minute. So you have to scroll. We'll say that it starts at 10 a.m. Again, this automatically translates for whoever's visiting the website's time zone. Save. And then we can add, there you go, it's updated. Add additional times. Automatically, it will add an hour on to whatever time you've selected. And then the round, you can see that it currently is, in the event controls, will be highlighted. So we'll say this is a 4-round tournament. It's pretty standard. But again, you might want to space out the rounds more than an hour. So awards section in the middle, and then this upload HTML section here are two different things. The awards are what is displayed after the event, so trophies for the winners. And then uploading HTML, this is regarding the standings. I believe there should actually be award standings here, but I'll correct that shortly. For the games section, if we open this now, pairings are not yet posted, of course. So we'll want to do that. To do that, we want to upload an XML file. For MacMahon tournaments, the pairings are actually done using OpenGotha. So you're going to need to collect the player registration and names on OpenGotha first, pair them, and then upload the info here. So I'm going to select a XML file that I already have. So we're going to type in .xml and we'll use test game. Hopefully it's pretty normal. Well, maybe we'll use VA open. Nah, test game. All right. There may not be too many matches to display. Previously, your titles could not have spaces, but I've corrected that, so you should be able to upload any file with any type of player names. As you see now, the countdown is counting up to 6. Once that is reached 6 out of 6 players, we'd want to make the games. At this point, people can join your tournament if their name was on the list, although I don't remember who's in the test file. But and so the next step is, looks like there are 2 games for the round 1, so we'll click Make Games, and that will start to generate the games to populate the top right. See, I can't collect those again. 2 games have been made. If I need to, I can erase the games. I can erase the players as well. One of the things to watch out for, though, is while it's easy to not include players in additional rounds, it is difficult without resetting the entire event to add players. This is a future update I'll have, so you can add players during the event. Right now, you cannot add players. Once the event begins, once you've uploaded this first step here, you cannot add additional players at this point. That was a future update. So we can see now the games that have appeared. We have board 1 is Yu Chi Bai versus Shi Tuan Shu. Probably mispronounced those. With a 0-stone handicap and 6.5 Komi. And another even game over here between these two. If I'd like to edit these, I can click this edit button, and that will display the information in the center. And additionally, now the check-in field is displaying for all people visiting the site who aren't checked in. So I couldn't type in Devin because there is no player named Devin, but I could type in Yuchi. And all of a sudden, this is an option. If I were to join as that player, they would walk into the check-in. Check-in, you can see in my other video about how the people join events. We can see if a player is checked in already by this X here. Actually, relative, this is if they've joined and if they've checked in. So you'll see these X's will reset each round, and you'll be able to see who's prepared and actually shown up for the round. The last stage will be after the games. You'll download the results and then progress the round here by hitting the plus button and pairing the next round in OpenGotha. And it's as simple as opening the new downloaded file and then just re-uploading it here once you've paired it. Please make sure to save the file in OpenGotha before you upload the XML file again here. So let's show you how to manually display those results. One final note about games, eventually this will work correctly, but the buy players sometimes do not pull from the game file. If that happens, you can manually input buy players. Typically, I said use for round 1, typically only happens during the first round. But the reality is it only happens the first time you have 5 players. So that may not be actually the first round. All right, let's hit edit. I'm going to see a couple different things here up here in the middle. Maybe. There we go. First of all, we're going to get the player information. This is populated by the file in OpenGotha. So we have player name, the rank, which we can update, but this really only updates the displayed rank. Doesn't necessarily have an effect on the paired rank. You can update things like the settings for the game, so the number of handicap zones or komi for the individual games, if there is a mistake. We can update the status of the individual players, but typically you shouldn't need to edit this. And we can update the results. This is a new feature. Really, if the game is played on OGS, as anyone using this tool should be having their tournament at this point on OGS, you'll want to paste the link to the game here. Now, the reality is the game should be created automatically on OGS by the players when they have both joined the event and marked themselves as ready, the game, and you've allowed the players to begin match. So that's what you need to do for round 1. Click allow players to begin match. When Yu Chibai and Xian show up, and on their end, when they click ready, which will display in the top middle for them, then the game will automatically be created. They'll also need to add their OGS account, but again, this all is explained in another video. This is, again, really nice for you to see if the app actually showed up. One other thing, though, is this X is actually different than these X's. At this point, there should be a unified thing in the future, but they've linked their account. So you'll notice that this will change when they've properly signed in with Baduk Club and checked in here. Once that's linked, this X is when they come back each round. There's a special question that appears, are you here? Check yes if you're here, and that will update this. And lastly, ready is what's displayed when they check these boxes on their end. If you need to manually update the results, you can. You can do black wins, you can do white wins, you can do a tie if there's a tie. OGS will not display a tie, but this actually will properly pull in a tie from OGS, meaning if the players end a game with a 0 point difference, Baduk Club will correctly mark this as a GGO. You can update it, though, to be both win or both lose. This is relevant to how OpenGotha scores the game. If you marked both win as being a point, GGO being half a point, and both lose as being 0 points, that affects. You can also change by default. So, for example, if black shows up and white just doesn't show up, black wins, right? But black wins by default. So you click here, and click here, and now when we download this result, you can see it's already updated. One game's not finished. This game's result will be downloadable into OpenGotha and automatically populate correctly using the special things that allow it to properly mathematically pair people. If both players had joined the event with proper OGS status, you can actually create the game manually with this button here. Or if they managed to create the game on their own for some reason and they used the correct settings and the game wasn't private, you can paste a link in here. Typically, we want to avoid this. We would just want them to check in, make sure they link their account, and if they have trouble, you can click Create OGS Match, and that should be good. Another button may appear here below one done saying Refresh OGS Account. That typically should happen, but if you click Create OGS Match and nothing happens, try refreshing both of the player's OGS account with the button that appears below the rank, and that will allow you to then create OGS match. If the information is wrong, you click rematch, and it'll reset the player's ready status and the winner. Okay, it didn't reset. It should reset that as well. So you can also add different players or switch the player color here. So the rematch, I'll fix this, but it should update the results as well. Actually, it looks like it did update the results here. Just didn't do it there. But this is actually the important one for downloading. If you need to switch to players, this is really useful if for some reason you're doing, actually, I would recommend this if you're doing a test tournament and you upload some sort of games, maybe the evening before or the week before, you should have your players come and try out the software and make sure it all makes sense for them, and you as the director can test it as well. Then this is really good for making on-the-fly pair matches. Let's say Yuchi shows up for the test and Mr. Zhu does not, so we would want to input a different player name here. So we just delete them, and we look for Devin will work. We would find another player in the tournament. So Mr. Sun. And we can actually add them. Now, obviously, in this case, we have Sun playing 2 different games. That's no good. The information that displays here for Sun, Quan Sun, will not be correct. I'm not sure if it'll display board 1 or 2, but the issue, of course, is they can't play both, and so you shouldn't do that. But so make sure you swap properly, or delete something completely. But that's the way to update the player names. Again, from only the player names that are on your registration that you uploaded in step 1. So there are only 6 possible players. Even though we have 4 here, there are actually 2 more. If I knew who they were, I would type in their names, potentially. Is a chat room. There is an issue where potentially both players are in the game and they want to talk to the TD. They may use the help hotline, but they also may call the TD with this button here. If they do that, get a little notification. There you go. And now you can see chat help. These 2 people need to chat. If you hit open, it's going to bring you to this, and it's going to make that go away. So you could say, how can I help you? And the players may, tell you what's wrong, why they called you. So you can just type in and enter, or you can click the send here. You can also delete your messages. That's true. The TDs can delete any messages over here in the tournament chat overall. So, somebody writes something they shouldn't, you can delete it. The tournament chat is open to everybody. The chat room I showed you below is just for the 2 players, and the TD can join. Also the case that the players can actually start a video chat for their game. If they do that, you can click this button here and also join the video chat. It would be different than the help hotline. It would be direct to both players. Okay, the rewards. I'll show you this. Add division. So we'd want to define a division, perhaps division 1. And we'd want to choose our winner. So we'll do Mr. Sun again, first place. If you don't define all of them, that's fine. When the event's over, you want to click this. If you have multiple divisions, you add them here, and then you can also change the order if you have different names and you mess up how you'd like them to show up. Start with the GDK division, the SDK, and change the order there. And delete the division as well. So I'm going to hit you show awards, just to give you an idea of what happens. When you hit show awards, it means the event has ended, which means it closes the chat, and it hides the game information if it's showing. And then it displays, again, the trophies for the players. So you don't want to reveal the event winners until the event is over. But this is not auto-populated based upon your selection of the TD. Again, you can upload the standings from OpenGotha as HTML files here using this or other HTML items as well. Another thing you can do as a TD is you can make announcements and include even links. So, and then if you hit post, it will appear for everybody in the top right, no matter who they are, if they're on this page. They can hide it if they want, but if you update the link and then post again, it will show this to everybody again, even if they hit it the first time. So that's pretty much everything. If you have any questions, please contact me, devin@baduk.club, and I'd be happy to help. Thank you very much.